I respect the social distance and take out my mask if you don't mind.
Bonjour, Monsieur le Premier ministre, Monsieur le ministre des Affaires étrangères, Mr. Ambassador, Your Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, dear friends, all protocol observed. I'm really happy to be here, and Mr. Ambassador Abe, thank you again to give an opportunity to Vision Madagascar, the company whose chairman I am, to be your partner in this beautiful venture. You have sparked the light and the candle, and now we have to hold it. And we have to hold it together. I hope Sanjay will be able to help. I hope all the friends will be able to help so we can do a beautiful museum here in Madagascar for this memory of the Indians coming to Madagascar, the Gujarati coming to Madagascar. Before I tell you about my bullet points about what I envision for that museum, I have to share a joke my son, one of my sons, shared with me this morning. So he said that, you know what, when it comes to Americans, they export jeans and they export so many things. When it comes to Germans, they export their industry. When it comes to French, they export their champagne or wine. Not as good, but that's history. So I hope together we'll be able to share all these pictures, images, audio, memory, which will help for that museum. The other thing I think we should have in that museum is the interaction with Malagasy people from the beginning. You know, that's what made it that we are in Madagascar. And that interactions sometimes was good, sometimes was bad, but mostly good, Mr. Prime Minister. If not, we wouldn't be here. So thank you to Madagascar that today you have an Indian community in Madagascar. Another thing is I would like also that museum to have traditional tools. You know, I remember, for example, my grandmother, she was using that ice cream making machine from India, and we will all be together with her and make this thing, you know, with the ice, with the salt and the cream inside, you know, where it was her special ice cream, you know, and we just, she will never share the recipe, especially with her granddaughter, the daughters-in-law, but we'll just share this thing, you know, it was so beautiful. So yeah, this kind of memorabilia, and you also mentioned that, Mr. Ambassador. Another thing that should be in that museum is more the didactic, the intellectual aspect of things. It's the research with archaeologists, anthropologists, to check on all these things, you know. For example, the ambassador just mentioned, you know, that we came in 1780 in Madagascar. But I have some other data, and that's how we have to share data. I have some other data from Conservation International. When we were doing the research on the lemurs, we have a testimony of a trader from Wales that has seen trading of lemurs going out of Madagascar to Surat, which is one of the biggest cities in Gujarat, in the middle of the 17th century. So we are now going much earlier than what we think, and we have also to check on all these things, you know. And from my personal knowledge of Gujarat, I will tell you one thing. I went to Gujarat only 3 years ago with my father, who was here, and my mom, and we strolled around Gujarat during 1 month, and I realized a lot of things. I invite all the Gujarati origin people here who want to go to Gujarat, even our Madagascar counterparts, especially that Gujarat now, Modi, our Prime Minister, is from Gujarat and is really keen into doing things. So, what I found out in Gujarat is that one of the first civilization, the Harappan civilization, invented the docks, which is artificial ports. That was the big leap. For the first time in human history, you had artificial ports that created an imaginable, incredible. And finally, I think the most important thing here is that museum should be also a place where people just come, stroll around, look at things, pictures, just relax. I'm thinking about people like my father, you know, like you just come, take a sense of life, and I'll take an expression from a friend, take the time to smell roses. That's what this museum is also about. And And the last but not least, kids. The kids, you guys come there, have fun, you know, because it's when you have fun that you can appropriate something, you know, your culture, it shouldn't be mandatory. So I hope, and I have my two kids who are here, right, Madagascar, and I have also my brother here, by the way, he's also always ready to have fun. So please don't hesitate when you are bored to tell me, you know, if that concept is boring. And I will end with a personal note for myself, is when you are in that museum, and other people also in that museum, I would like I wish you to have that thought in mind. This is an expression from a philosopher, Kierkegaard. He said, life can only be understood backwards, but it must be lived forwards. That's where the museum can help. Thank you very much.